President Trump is hopeful to have an in-person meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin next week to discuss the war in Ukraine. The president has been frustrated with Putin, and he has floated the idea of imposing additional sanctions on Moscow. So let's go live to Scripps News Group political correspondent Nate Reed. Nate, good morning. What effects could these secondary sanctions have?
Well, Brett, they could be quite widespread. These secondary sanctions, to be clear, not targeting Moscow necessarily, though there's already a lot of sanctions in place on Russia, and there's the possibility of adding additional sanctions, but targeting some of their largest trading partners, including China. Obviously, already a trade war happening between the U.S. and China. Could they get additional tariffs as a result of this? A lot of questions there. Also, the possibility of sanctions on countries like European Union nations that trade with Russia or have in the past. Turkey, another big trading partner as well, the possibility that there could be something there. So again, that's a very real thing that we're looking at now. And President Trump venting his frustration in the Oval Office as recently as yesterday, saying that he wants some sort of agreement to be reached. He wants to get Putin to the table. He's not happy with the fact that President Putin has continued this war. The question is, what would these negotiations look like? You just mentioned there's that possibility of them meeting as soon as early next week. We don't know if that's really going to happen, but we really have to know about whether what we're really trying to rather understand is whether that would include President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. At this point, not clear. President Trump throwing cold water on whether President Zelensky would be included.
And Nate, this week, the past few days at least, President Trump imposing new tariffs, increasing rates on existing ones for a lot of countries. So I know a lot of people are wondering, how will these new rates affect the average consumer?
Well, look, in semiconductors, which is what President Trump threatened a 100% tariff on this week, there's been this big drive now for years, stretching back to the Biden administration, to move semiconductor production to here in the U.S. There have been companies that have been investing. President Trump says if these companies make investments in the U.S., U.S.-made semiconductors, they'll be exempt from these 100% tariffs that he's floated. But that means any piece of technology, your iPhones, your computer, those could all get more expensive. Those are all things that use those semiconductors. Also, a lot of modern cars that have a lot more technology than engine power. Those are candidates that use a lot of chips as well. So, again, a lot of questions about which way tariffs are going. President Trump, though, making clear this week he's not letting up on his constant pushes for additional tariffs, his drive to try and get more made here at home in the United States rather than relying on shipments from overseas. Some analysts saying that it's not possible to make everything that the U.S. consumes here at home.